the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
When Brian brings up the point, I'm a floor guy. I just think when I look at Jayden Daniels, I just think his fundamentals are already good enough where you can be confident that he can start right away. Now, I'm not saying he has the potential of a Drake Maye. I'm just saying, like, I'm confident enough. Like, all right, if I have to start a QB day one, I think Jayden Daniels is more ready than a Drake Maye. I think Drake Maye, his fundamentals, it needs time.
Here's why I'll push back on that since we get negative. Jayden Daniels is my boy, but when you say that, yes, he may be more fundamentally sound, whatever that means to you, but you can't ignore there's some stats out there.
I saw stats
Specifically about him going past his first or second read.
I saw that.
Before he just takes off.
I saw that.
He ain't a perfect prospect. So here's my thing.
Prospect.
It obviously is not. But here's my thing though. I don't think the gap between Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye is wide enough for you to think that Maye has to sit, but Jayden Daniels can start day one. I don't think it is.
I'm just saying.
I agree with that. That's a good take right there.
I'm just saying, if we looking at it from a perspective of, if you have these two QBs and you're saying who can start day one, and you can feel somewhat comfortable with
Jayden
it.
if I was on that way.
Here's another point. Compared to their college rosters, who has the more what QB
true.
had the more comparable situation?
That's true. That is true. Jayden Daniels, he had all-world wide receivers.
2 first-round wide receivers.
2 first-round wide receivers. That is true, and I give you credit for that. I agree with that. But I'm just looking at. But if you look at the film, look at what these QB evaluators are saying. They're looking at it. Oh, Jayden Daniels has a quick release. Jayden Daniels, he's able to go through his reads relatively quickly. While like there's points in Drake Maye where he goes through his reads and he be second guessing, or he be going to the read too quickly at times, and he should have let it progress. So I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I'm saying to myself, well, maybe, just maybe, Jayden Daniels, you put him in this commander situation, and you're a little bit more comfortable starting him early because it's Mariota, bruh. It's Listen, you bring in Mariota, there is no way you can tell me that the organization believes that Mariota is going to start the entire season. Mariota is going to be the starter day one. Like, I believe they brought in Mariota because they don't want no competition for the QB that they're bringing in. Because Mariota sucks. He's a practice squad QB. He's a QB3 at best. He is not no backup. The dude stinks.
He's a winner.
Tell him how you really feel.
He should really be having
You
a
should be in
running
the
back
UFL.
allegations.
He should be Taysom Hill. That's how bad he
better
is.
than Mariota. I ain't gonna.
That's how bad he is. So I'm looking at
Taysom Hill can run a route and catch a touchdown.
I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I'm saying to myself, if I had to start a QB day one, I'm going with Jayden Daniels. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just how I am. I understand the flaws. Lamar Jackson, I know he didn't start day one, but he eventually started. Fundamentals wasn't always there. He would, just like with Jayden Daniels at the time, like he was more so run than pass. He didn't necessarily go through his reads a whole lot. He was still working on his fundamentals at the time, but they were able to win. They were able to get to the playoffs. Now, he stunk it up in the playoffs, but they were able to get to the playoffs. And I'm not saying that the Commanders won't get to the playoffs. Hell no, not with this coaching staff, not with this talent. But I will say that it's happened before where a QB that not necessarily, he's not all the way there yet, he can utilize his legs. I'm not saying he's as good as Lamar Jackson, but he's still a dynamic runner with the football. He can still evade people at times. And you can win some games with that early on. Now,
that's what scares me.
That is. But I think where I'm concerned with Drake Maye is that he does be making them boneheaded mistakes. Like, his turnovers are not like, oh, accidental or something like, oh, somebody tipped the ball, or like, this is all him. Like, this is all his fault. And that's where I'm like, But again, like you said, they can be taught, they can be taught, but do you believe that the coaching staff, are you confident that the coaching staff can teach this quarterback the right way? I'm not confident, Clint Kingsbury. I'm sorry.
I'm confident Well, not fully confident. I'm not 100% confident. Like, a lot of people's 100% confident just because of the names and all of that. But I'm just confident because there's just too many people there.
Yeah.
Well, that's a reason why I'm kind of unconfident, but at the same time, it's too many people there to, like, teach you right from wrong when it comes to, especially former quarterbacks. Like, Brian Johnson came out there and saw Jalen Hurts, his footwork, like, to correct his footwork and whatnot. He's been credited for that. Like, Jalen Hurts has credited Brian Johnson for helping him become a better quarterback. And then Cliff Kingsbury, we know what happened in Arizona, but at the same time, we know Cliff Kingsbury's history with quarterbacks, though. But Cliff Kingsbury's quarterbacks also tend to, like, burn out and, like, die out towards the end of the season. So that's a red flag for me, too. And who else? Tyler Pritchard, our quarterbacks coach now, he was ball here with Bieniemy. Like, I don't really have anything to say about that. Like, that's a dude that was held over by this regime. I guess Adam Peters likes him, so I like him for now. But, like, he was a Bieniemy hire, so I'm not really moved by that. The only dude I'm really moved by, it's kind of crazy to say, is kind of David Blau, because at least he was with a good team recently. I mean, Brian Johnson was too, but David Blau didn't leave the Lions off of bad terms. He just left because he retired and wanted to become a coach, so he came to us. But I feel like they could probably iron out the flaws, and not just Drake May, but Jayden Daniels too. Like, Jayden Daniels does have his own flaws, but his flaws are definitely more transferable, like, and not uncoachable, but uncoachable, I guess. Like, you can't teach a guy who's been running for his not really his whole career, but a majority of his career to just stand in the pocket, and if the play break down, don't run or try to throw the ball away. You can't really teach that. And I've seen that. I tried to convince myself. I can't lie. I tried to convince myself last year with Sam Howell that you could do that. Like, you could teach a quarterback who's been historically known to hold the ball, to get the ball off faster. It was working in some games, but most of the season he was holding the ball too long. Like, going through his reads, wouldn't see the read, sack, or trying to run out the pocket. Same thing with Carson Wentz. I was never on the Carson Wentz wave, but he was definitely a pressure to sack, high pressure to sack guy. Like, he was holding the ball too long. He was getting smacked. Oh my God. Yeah. Hope I never got to see that again. And with Jayden Daniels, his pressure to sack ratio is absurd. It's like 24%.
Yeah, it's 24, and then Drake's is 18.
Yeah.
I see what yeah, it is.
In 2022, his pressure to sack ratio was 30. Like, that's an outlier. Like, he was getting sacked a third of the. Sorry,
I'll say this. I say this though, because I haven't watched a whole lot of, like, games of Jayden Daniels. I watched, like, beginning of the season, and I was like, this dude, where's all the hype? Because it was like, oh, he was a 5-star recruit. I'm like, what's all this hype around him for? And then all of a sudden, he just, middle of the season, like, just starts going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is this? And, because remember, Michael Penix was like QB3 for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, Jayden Daniels comes on the scene and he starts doing his thing. And then it was like, oh, Jayden Daniels, he might be QB3. He might be the second best quarterback. I'm like, yo, he might be the first best quarterback. I'm like, yo, what? Like, he was rising up the ranks. And I'm like, damn, like, this fast? So
we getting food off of 8 weeks of footage.
that's what I'm trying to be fair, because I know how much he's improved, because I remember that Florida State game. He was not playing well. Like, he was looking very bad against Florida State.
ACC team, by the way.
Yeah, he was looking very bad that game, and I'm like,
to be fair, Florida State went undefeated.
Yeah, Jared versus. But man, I don't even want to open up that can of worms.
Just FSU for whatever reason.
I don't even want to open up a can of worms, because people will be slighting them and all that stuff. I don't even want to open up that can of worms. But regardless, like, that game right there, like, I was just like, I just couldn't get that out of my head for, like, a lot of the season, like, because I watched the entire game. Like, I remember, like, how, like, just nervous he looked, how anxious he looked in the pocket and stuff. With Jared Verse was killing them that game. Like, they were going crazy, the pass rushers. So, but man, this, honestly, it don't matter who the fuck it is. Regardless, y'all got to develop.
That's why I say just take the ceiling guy, man.
It don't matter who the hell it is,
That's
bro.
what I'm thinking. Like, you're not expected to win or be a playoff team year one. So you might as well take the dude you can at least take time to develop. And throw him in the fire. I don't believe in
Don't
this.
throw him in the fire.
I don't believe it.
Don't.
I'm not. Why am I taking a QB top 2 that I gotta sit for you? I might as well just like I don't trade back or something. If I'm gonna sit a QB, I'm at least get a QB that supposedly isn't as good. Boost up on draft cap or maybe fix the O-line or something.
Like I don't see how you can say that J.J. McCarthy. Well, I see how people can say it, but that's been a take that's been flying around recently saying that J.J. McCarthy is more pro ready than Drake Maye.
And what?
Stupid.
Like what?
Because
That doesn't make sense. He's played less games through the ball.
If he would have went out there and lost that championship game, they wouldn't have said that.
Oh man, yeah. No,
Or lost against Bama, they wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
And I like J.J. McCarthy.
I like J.J. McCarthy.
He alright. I mean, he alright.
Skinny Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, exactly. Prop Purdy.
He like
Prop Purdy. So he alright.
Meditating Brock Purdy. That's what he.
He alright. I mean, Matt Ryan. I mean, he alright.
Yeah, he alright. I just feel like you can't ignore the red flags that come with Jayden Daniels though. Like you can't ignore the red flag. I can acknowledge as a Drake Maye guy, I can acknowledge Drake Maye's flaws, but for some reason the Jayden Daniels guys in our fan base don't want to acknowledge his flaws.
That's true.
And they want to cite Kurt Benkert and Dan Orlovsky and Chris Sim. We talking about third string quarterbacks, man. Come on. Like, I'm tired of that. Oh, now we got Chase Daniel too on the Jayden Daniels way. 4. That's 4.
Yeah.
I will say this though.
Don't.
I have never, in my entire years of being involved in the draft, start seeing advanced stats be used to compare college QB. I've never seen it.
He wasn't there for the CJ Stroud. He wasn't there for the CJ.
Oh yeah.
He was on the CJ Stroud way, but he wasn't there for the advanced analytics part though.
I ain't see the advanced analytics.
Yeah, no, there was the CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud. When it comes to analytics, CJ Stroud, Justin Fields. I mean, no, not Justin Fields. That was
just
bad
pure
analytics right there.
Film breakdown.
Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Mahomes, all of them dudes was analytics gods back in the day. This is when people was hating on PFF and all the analytics, and now like looking back, they was onto something. So now I guess this draft, since is Caleb and Drake and Jayden. Not just, 1 or 2 good quarterbacks, but it's 3 good quarterbacks this time around. Maybe even 4 if JJ's good. So people got to cite whatever they can cite to push their agendas,
Yeah. I look at, my thing is, the person that flashes the most to me is Drake Maye, by far. Like, although Jayden Daniels can run, and when you look at a guy that can do things that not many people can do, Drake Maye is up there. Like he honestly... Drake Maye and Caleb Williams, like, they compare a lot when it comes to making these out-of-world sort of plays that not many guys can make. Like, he's like, throwing with his left hand.
Yeah, right.
About to get tackled, throwing with his left hand, and that's like Mahomes, like. That's like Josh Allen, like. I'm looking at that, and I'm saying to myself, like, dude, he can be a game changer.
I forgot what game it was, but I didn't see Drake Maye roll out to his right. That's like what he known for though. Like when he does get under pressure, he does roll out to his right a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
He does.
But I didn't see him roll out to his right and fire a moving ball to the other. It might have been the Clemson game.
That was the Clemson game.
To the other to the receiver. I think it was Tez Walker on the other hash mark. And I'm like, bro, how can you see this and say that Jayden Daniels can do what Drake Maye can? I ain't seen Jayden Daniels do this, man. Like, come on.
You see, like, he just does something, bro. Like, I remember, like, he would do like these. It would be like these throws, like these 40-yard throws, and the way he's able to like change the way he can throw, like the way he throws is so crazy because like there'll be moments where it'll be like a 40-50-yard pass, and like the throw. You be looking at it and be like, it don't even look like it's going to be going that far. But it really does.
It's like in the basket. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like...
Drake Maye's deep accuracy is insane, but like his intermediate accuracy is good too, but his short accuracy is like kind of shoddy, and that's crazy. That's what's his problem is as a prospect, He
reminds me like a pitcher almost. Like the way it's like throwing, like different throws, like Clayton Kershaw, I remember in his prime, like he would just have like this ability like to have different style of pitches, and you'd be like, how does he get this shit off? Like how does he be striking these people out? But it works. And I look at Drake Maye, and I'm like, how is he getting like these throws off like 50 yards? Like it looks like it's gonna be short, but it's not. And like I remember when people on Twitter were talking about it, debating about it, and I'm like, that's different.
Yeah, it is.
Like the way he's able to do that, because normally if you're gonna throw a ball like that shit gonna be like look like a bomb. Like it's going up in the air. Like
as a guy who's always been a kind of a gunslinger type of supporter, I didn't see Drew Lock do that coming out of Missouri. Drew Lock wasn't doing that. I didn't see Mason Rudolph doing that coming out of OK State. He wasn't doing that. Like, and those are the guys that I think Drake Maye's floor can be at least. Like those are our backups, but when they started recently, they've produced.
I heard Carson Wentz comparisons to Drake.
Oh, pre-injury Carson Wentz. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, but the thing. I mean, Brian knows Carson Wentz pretty well. I mean, the thing with Carson Wentz was such a weird quarterback because at one end,
His
like,
mechanics were terrible.
Yeah, they were terrible. But like
bad footwork, his release in mind.
But he would carry the Eagles teams. Like he would have like receivers I had never heard of, running backs I never heard of. But then all of a sudden, you know, he lead the Eagles and he's just garbage now. Like it's just weird. Like he's just an odd quarterback. One of the weirdest quarterbacks I've ever seen.
The last thing I'll say about Drake Maye, and watching his tape and watching people break down his game, I had no choice but to call back to my own QB, Dak Prescott, as far as the footwork goes. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes I would see Drake Maye make great plays with his arm, but then I'm thinking like if he just drove that foot in the ground, that would have been such a way more consistent and honestly could help him with the bow-headed plays he make if he just put his foot down. Because I see Dak do it all the time. He would make some risky throws, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Dak, drive your foot in the ground and deliver a strike. Yeah. And sometimes he get caught up because of that. He don't plant his foot, and he just it's a pick six or something like that. Like against that was the last game of the season last year, 2022, against the Commanders actually, and he threw that out route. He threw it out like twice in a row, and it was the laziest pass I've ever seen. I'm like, he was just asking for that to the grave. So that's the one that I think if Drake Maye really gets that footwork down, it speeds up his release because he does throw the ball pretty slow, and you know that time to throw and then windows get much shorter in the NFL because all of these dudes you went from maybe a couple guys getting drafted you playing against to everybody got drafted. Yeah. So yeah, if he gets that footwork down and fix his release speed, I think he'll be all right, man. Mm. I can't tell you what his ceiling is personally. I think his ceiling, I'd say like a top 10 QB.
I say top 5.
My ceiling, I've been saying this since I realized somehow since the season pretty much ended. I say he gonna be like Big Ben, but like more
minus
elusive.
The club incident.
Oh yeah, definitely minus.
Definitely minus. He is. They've been the captain for the past 2 years. I mean, I've heard all about his leadership.
Yeah, he's like a quiet leader type of guy. Like the team responds to him. Apparently, you know, he might not be out on the field like Jayden Daniels was chasing after his teammates and cheering them up, but his teammates gonna be at his birthday party. You know, draft day reference.
Yeah, for sure. Did you see that? It was like a video of North Carolina. They got their own like, I guess you could say like all access, whatever. And they showed him. He was in a locker room with one of the linebackers. You talking about like something about him like running and everything like that. If I run or something, like he's not gonna get tackled or something. And you know, it's just like he has relationships not just with the offense. Like he'll have relationships with the defense as well. So it lets me know like he cares about everybody on the team, not just like the offense and everything like that. So that's just a good sign that when he gets to your organization, that like he's gonna try to get to know everybody on the team. Like it's not just gonna be the offense, like the receivers and the offensive linemen. So I appreciate that, and he seems like one of the guys. Like he's not like one of them. Like he's not one of them white boys that be like real cringe. He's. You know, so I appreciate that. He's not like Carson Wentz.
Oh gosh.
You know what I mean? You know, Zach Wilson. So yeah, man. At the end of the day, to conclude this conversation, it doesn't really matter who they draft. It's close anyway. It's going to come down to the coaching staff. Can you bring in this quarterback? Can you do your due diligence to make sure that he learns, he develops, and that he's ready to take on this responsibility?
Yeah, right.
That's all that matters. If you can't do that, then it's on the coach. It's on the coach and the GM for not doing their part and making sure that this situation is the best, because we've seen it for the past 20 years with the Commanders. They failed every single time. RG3, what's his name? I forgot his name already. No, not Kurt. I mean, they actually did pretty solid.
Talking about Jason Garrett?
No, well,
Dwayne.
I mean, you can see Dwayne Haskins. You taking these guys in the first round, and it's just
They failed Sam Howell too.
Sam
He was a
Howell,
fifth rounder, but
yeah.
he failed him.
at least you guys got a third round for you. So, but yeah, man. Good luck to the Commanders.
Ain't no good luck. I hope they fail.
Drake Maye can run too. One last thing I'm gonna say: Drake Maye can run. That's a misconception. Like they want to say that Jayden Daniels is a superior athlete, but Drake Maye got the second most 10 plus yard runs in the 2 seasons they done started. Like the one in front of him is Jayden Daniels, but like Drake Maye right behind him. So
yeah, pretty much. All right.
Just let me be me.